Hey guys, Deanpo here for another video. Happy Friday everybody, we made it. It was a hell of a week, but we got here in the end. So, today's video is going to be about Showdown again, surprise, surprise. But in particular, specific characters, right? Now here's how this is going to work. I've released a team tier list before, which also needs to be updated soon. But this is going to just focus specifically on characters, right? But only characters that are part of the current meta and characters that we've tested extensively, right? I'm not going to talk about characters that I don't own or haven't tested, right? Either or. Anyway, so let's get stuck into it. I just need to collect my rewards here quickly and we can get into it. So, here's the thing. Let's start from here. So, characters that I currently do not own or have not tested, I have put down here at the bottom. There's two standouts here, one in Yuri and one in Poison. So post Soul update, and I think they also fixed a couple of things where Yuri was bugged. Could potentially make her very viable, right? So she's back up there. She could, you know, be a main carry, but how good is she really? I couldn't tell you because I haven't maxed mine. So it'll need specific testing. I'll see if I can get a Yuri from someone that has a maxed and do a showcase. Also with Poison, I've seen more and more people beginning to use her now. Obviously still early stages, but she can silence. She has some really good moves, huge damage output. So stay tuned. We'll do a showcase on those. But yeah, all these other units I do own, I just have not maxed them, therefore I haven't really tested them, right? I know someone that's built these two, so I have a chat with him and maybe we can do a showcase together on them. But for now, these will stay under the testing category. So, moving on, we'll start with Abel here. So what does Abel fit? Well, Abel is somewhere in the middle of the pack. He deserves to be here because he's very versatile. So I use him in tank position. So he has a few things going for him. He's a decent tank, right? He has a really good assist and also a really good C1. So I personally use him for C1, but you can use him as a tank. You can use him for multiple things, right? But for the sake of Showdown, you know, I use him as a tag for his shield. So let me show you my team lineup. So if I look at here, get top 16, I'll look at my lineup, for example, you will see I use him there. So just playing the fight. This is a mirror team, so Vix also had the right idea using Abel. Matter of fact, I think Vix was one of the very first people to use Abel's shield. So as you can see there, he applies a shield. He's really good, right? So that is one thing to note there. So whether you use him as a tank or an assist or even as a tag unit, he'll come through for you. So mine is not even maxed, right? So minimal resource input, minimal, very minimal. If I look at oops, sorry guys, I just logged in post reset for the first time. So where's my Abel? So, you know, nothing fancy. FS20. I have 4 cars. I've slowly been getting these cars. So yeah, very minimal resource input. He'll do the job for you, right? Wow, these guys are getting really creative with these top picks, aren't they? I just want your money. Show me the money. Anyways, back to this. Then we have Akuma. So Akuma is far from God tier. I'm sorry to say it, right? He's, and trust me, there's not many more people that are more qualified to discuss Akuma than me, and let me show you why. I've used him. He's a mainstay in my team. You know, mine is close to Soul Power 80, right? So we're almost there. If you look at cars, 4 duplicates there, right? That's 4, that's 8, that's 12, plus the original 6, right? And that ends up being, what, like 18 cars, like something ridiculous like that. So 12 cars there plus the original 6. So he's pretty maxed. His FS is only 30. His equipment is maxed, as you would expect. So why is he not God tier? Well, two things, right? He does really bad against Bison teams. Not only he makes Bison explode, but when he goes for his C2, which is the Raging Demon, he only seems to target Bison, and he's driving me crazy, right? It pisses me off so much. If he didn't do that, he'll probably be higher tier, but he's not. And his super makes Bison constantly explode because he does so much damage on his super, and it just makes Bison constantly explode, right? So against any other team, you'll have a field day. Pin him against Bison, you'll be struggling, right? You know, in order to be the king, you take out the king, and he cannot take out the king, the king, right? So that's my thoughts on Akuma. I do not think he's God tier. He's good at S+ tier. I'll show you how I use him, and I'll show you why I don't think he's God tier. So I'll watch my replay here. So even though Vix has 4 levels on me, though in reality he probably has about 40 levels on me. He goes level 424, I'm on like 380. So he's got a lot of levels on me, right? So let's watch how Akuma does. I'm only using Akuma for his C2, and he doesn't do him justice either, right? Oops, sorry, that's the wrong matchup. So you need to use his super and then his C2 so he can build up his damage stacks. Otherwise, it doesn't do as much damage. So let's see what happens here. Vergil opens up, Summer Yang, and then he gets Viper, and he doesn't even get it down to half health, man. Like, come on. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, watch what Vergil does. Just look at Vergil. It's like, it just one taps. Boom. Done. Thank you for coming. Viper, see you later. It's, you know, that is what you would expect of a God tier. Someone that will get these glass cannons and just mop the floor with them, right? Akuma doesn't do that. So, he's going to stay in S tier, right? Should you build him? Absolutely, right? He's a good unit, very versatile. You use him in other modes as well. But in Showdown, even though he's a mainstay for me, I'm not really getting the full potential out of him. Other people will probably get more out of him until they verse a Bison team. But for me right now, it just doesn't, you know, it doesn't justify God tier. Next is B-Zang. So what does B-Zang do, right? So B-Zang is minimal damage output, right? He's got a decent AoE, but in terms of damage, he's not Akuma, and he's no tank, he's no support unit. So what is he? Well, he's kind of like difficult to explain here, right? What's the right terminology I can use here? he's the guy your girlfriend tells you not to worry about, right? Because he's nothing special, but he's very effective, right? He's very effective at what he does, and he's there being a good friend to the rest of your team, right? He boosts their speed. He's incredible at interrupting. He interrupts like a motherfucker, right? This guy knows his stuff. So boost the speed, guarantees you'll go first unless you verse a mirror team. Then it's like 50-50, all things are equal. Who goes first? But yeah, that's where his usefulness starts and ends. He's squishy. He's not the squishiest, but he's squishy. He'll get his cheeks clapped occasionally, which is why I don't recommend you level his FS30. For the love of God, do not. I repeat, do not level his FS30. Because what he'll do is, periodically, he'll get in the middle and he'll try to do some shit, pull some shit, and he gets his cheeks clapped. You don't want him to do that, right? So let him stay in his lane, use him for what he's good at, and that's interrupting and boosting his speed. Yeah, and just let him chill there. He's a good boy. Anyways, next we got Bison. Without a doubt, God tier. I'm not going to go through what he does. All I'm going to say is max his FS to 30. You don't have to go to 40. Get his cars. Get him to 5 stars if you can. Not necessarily 5 stars, but cars are a must. And he will do wonders for you, right? He will carry you PvE, PvP, you name it. The guy is an absolute unit. He doesn't die until the rest of your team is dead. He explodes, does so much freaking damage. It is insane. Insane. I cannot overstate his importance, right? So, he's been covered to death. I'm not going to do it anymore, but he's God tier. Next, we have Sea Viper. Sea Viper originally for me would have been S tier. Now I think she borders S to S+, only because of soul updates. It gives her... it just makes her so much more useful, right? Her damage output has tripled. Now she's a force to be reckoned with, right? She's on par with like your Akumas and stuff. A matter of fact, she could potentially replace Akuma. She's not as good, but hey, for a free unit, non-special summon unit, she has no right being in the same league as him. Alright, so if we look at Sea Viper, you'll see every man and his dog runs her for a very good reason, and that's because she is a little bit busted, right? She really shines in this competition here with B-Zang, Elena, right? So essentially what happens is B-Zang will pull the opponents. First she'll do a ground slam, hit the last unit, right? As we can see here. Then Elena will heal, B-Zang will pull them all together, and then she'll go to work and smack him up a little bit, right? So she's really, really, really good at that. That's why now she's probably like the mainstay for every team. She's in every single team competition. I can pull any fight here and you'll see most of them will run a Sea Viper, right? There you go, same thing. It's everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Just Sea Vipers, Sea Vipers, Sea Vipers, right? And rightfully so. Let's be honest. She's a beast. Cool. So that covers Sea Viper. Cammy, she's not good for PvP. She is not. Period. She brings a little bit of speed to the table. She's a single target unit. Single target units are not good for showdown. She can dish out damage to the tank, but the tank, that's what he's there to do. Take damage. She is not good for PvP. I would not recommend the building of PvP. Use her for anything else, but don't fall in love with your units, guys, just because you've leveled someone like, I don't know, like say a like a Fei Long or a Combat Guile. Don't use them. If they're bad at showdown, don't use them. Next we got Chun-Li. Now Chun-Li is kind of the same boat as Abel here. She's really good, right? She's really quick. She can go in any team because of a C3. Right, it's also a very, very, very effective C3. If you're using it with someone like a B-Zang or in conjunction with F Blanka, so you open up with F Blanka, then you have your tag unit, then F Blanka again, and you finish it off with Chun-Li. Every time she crits, she if you have a cars in the FS, she'll fill up your super gauge. She'll make your team go faster because, well, in the pecking order of things, if your team's quicker, your super bar fills up quicker. Your team probably will get priority over the other team, right? She is really fast. She's a well-rounded unit. She's not broken, but she brings a lot to the table. She's like a Swiss Army knife, right? She brings a lot to the table. So if you look at her cars here, and also, so if she lands crits, the attack and crit of all allies is increased as well. So she's good. I'd recommend her, and you get a lot of utility out of her, right? But she's not a same level as Sea Viper or Akuma, right? She's not necessary. She's not game breaking. So I can't justify putting her anywhere else. Combat Guile, he's a beast when you fight the chapters. But that's only because he's like 100 levels above you, right? Or when you fight him in Shadowloo City, that's because he's perked up. He's got all these active boons and whatnot that they get, right? So if I look at, say, Shadowloo City here, they get like, see, damage dealt and all sorts of perks, right? That's why he seems like he's really strong, but he's not. He's squishy. He's got decent AoE damage, but I would not recommend, right? Dhalsim here, I'll put an 8 here, only because he is uber squishy. Huge damage potential. If you can keep him alive, his super and his C3, holy cow, like this guy will demolish a team. The only issue is just keeping him alive. If you can keep him alive, he'll do the job for you, right? I've seen people pair him up with B-Zang and get that first combo off and he's GG, right? Very, 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 very solid. Like, I would recommend him if you have him built and if you have no one else to put in that unit, right? I've also seen people running him with F Blanka, which I wouldn't recommend because the team is too small, too slow, and he'll get his ass clapped. So that's a no-go. Then we have E Honda here, right? Sorry guys, I'm trying to go as quick of this as I can, otherwise it's going to be a like a 30-minute video, 40-minute video, and no one wants to watch a 30 or 40-minute video. Honda, right? A lot of people will say he's S tier, right? But for me, I gotta say he's S plus, right? I've tested him against really, really solid opponents, and he's the reason why I have not pulled for Goken. He is the reason why my Iryu team works. And you may ask why, well, what's so special about him? I'll show you now, right? So, I usually run him with Evil Ryu, and for Evil Ryu to trigger his Shoryuken, which is this one here, it will only unleash once a teammate uses combo 3. So, I need a tank with combo 3, or I need someone like a Sea Viper. But I don't run Sea Viper, right? So I run F Blanka in that team usually. Not always, but usually. So it's C Blanka, followed by Elena, C Blanka, and then that's where Honda comes in, right? So if I go to Super Showdown, top 16. Did I fight this guy with my Blanka team? No. Qualifiers, maybe? Yeah, so look at this, right? This is the team I run, and mind you, that's a Bison team there, right? So I open up with F Blanka there. Then I switch to Elena. And then it's F Blanka again. And this is why Honda is important, right? For two reasons. The bullet wall there, which negates range damage. And also for his C3, which then sets off my Evil Ryu. And then claps Bison's cheeks, right? That's why I rate him as S tier. He's very, very good. Very solid. Solid foundation. Decent abilities. Can potentially interrupt. Right? And always survives until the end. He's like a shittier version of Sagat, right? He heals himself. He heals the whole team when desperation triggers, right? So when E-Honda is in damage sharing status, then other teammates will receive the same HP recoveries. Okay, so these are his cars. So the bullet wall is created, blocking up to 5 ranged attacks, last 12 seconds. When desperation triggers, it creates a bullet wall that blocks up to 5 ranged attacks. So solid, really, really, really tanky, really solid unit. And hey, it's free to build, right? By now, most of you guys would have built him because you need him for chapters anyway, for story mode. That's why I'll rate him as an S+. Call me crazy. The man has delivered time and time again. I've won Showdown 4 times because of him, right? He's been part of the teams that's come clutch for me. And you saw him take on the Bison team, right? Very, very, very strong. Now next we have Elena. Easily S+. She's the only pure healer in the game. And she is groundbreaking in that regard because in Showdown, it's a battle of attrition. Forget what other people told you about, oh, Showdown is over in a blink, it goes so quick. No, it doesn't. It does not. You usually get to pull off 3 to 4 combo chains. And you need someone to sustain your team during that time, right? Because if one teammate drops, there goes your whole combo chain. And she is essential as that. And if you run, like say, like an Echo or something else, she'll heal like a mother lover, right? She can heal. So, S+. Necessary. The only shame is we only get one of her. But now, hey, with the new War Dancer unit, if you haven't seen my previous video on her, I reckon she will be just as good a healer as Elena, but on steroids. We should probably even be able to revive units. So she's essential. As I say, it's only a shame we only get one of her, right? One thing to note: do not, I repeat, do not max her FS, because what will then do is, it says here, Curing Dance has a 60% chance to trigger Brave Dance. This means she's going to jump in the middle of the pack during Showdown, try to be a hero, and she's going to get her cheeks clapped. You don't want her to be a hero, you want her to be a healer, to stay in the lane, get out of attack position, heal, and get the fuck out. That's all she needs to do. No more, no less, right? So, use her for what she's meant. You don't have to build all the cars, not necessary. You don't have to max the spirit, not necessary. Matter of fact, my one, it doesn't even have maxed equipment. but she does the job, okay? That's why she's in ST. She's easy to use, easy to build, doesn't require much resource dump. She's good around the board. Next we have F Blanka. F Blanka will stay S+, potentially go down to S if he doesn't get a soul power update. My F Blanka is not as tanky as he used to be. I don't know if he got shadow nerfed or maybe he's just getting outshined by other characters like C Viper now. They have the soul update and he doesn't have the soul update. Difficult to pinpoint, but as you can see here, the only reason mine can compete with others is because you have 3, 6, 9. So he's got 9 cars on top of the existing 6. So that's 15 cars there, right? He still pulls his weight for me, right? Until I get a next DPS unit, he will be a mainstay for me. Right now, as things are, he's in S tier. He'll probably get power crept if he doesn't get a soul update. And I don't see an incentive for them to give him a soul power update. He's a free unit. But he has been a mainstay for me since Showdown begun, right? It's a shame we only get one of him as well because he does so much AoE damage for his super and his C3. It's just a really, really, really solid unit. Yeah, I mean, everyone has him. I don't have to go in depth. You know what he does right now. You know what he brings to the table, right? Now we have Fashion Sakura. I like Fashion Sakura. I don't use it personally, but she has a really good assist. And if you need someone to fill in that slot, someone that can survive a bit longer, someone that's a little bit tanky and can dish out decent DPS, she's a very good utility character, right? She's kind of like Chun-Li. They're obviously different things. She heals a little bit, but she's really, really good at that. So nothing groundbreaking, not a must-have. Really good assist though, so I'll put it down as S. So if you want to use her in Showdown, she'll come through with you. But now we're so sort of deep into the game cycle, I feel like, you know, her use is very limited, right? There's a lot of better units out there that you can use. Gen suffers from the same issue as Akuma, more or less, and T Cammy. His issue is if he comes across a Bison team, you're guaranteed dead, right? His opener, his C2, it just hits the first target, and you don't want him to hit the first target. You want to kill the back row. And unfortunately, even though he has huge damage output, I wouldn't recommend him. I wouldn't, not for PvP anyway, right? Not for Showdown. He could be good he would excel at other things. But the reason why he's A tier for me is because he can dish out decent damage against certain teams, not all teams. But his assist is really good. So if you use him as an assist on someone squishy like Akuma or C Viper, what happens is they'll go and kill that unit first before they attack your actual character. So really good assist for PvP. Next we have Guile. Guile, okay. It's difficult, right? I mean, it's between A and S, and the reason why I say it's between A and S is because he suffers from the same issue as Dhalsim. You know, if you put him in a B-Zangief team, his damage potential is unbelievable because you open up with his super. Usually his super misses the back units, so it's a hit and miss. But once a B-Zangief pulls everyone together, his saber kicks will just clean up. Huge damage output. Once again, very squishy. Come up against someone like Akuma, you'll get deleted. Unless you manage to take him down first. So I'll be generous and I'll say he's S tier, right? Only because I'm generous, but he's borderline here, guys. Only because he's squishy. Otherwise, very good utility. Huge damage output. Now we have Guy. Guy, the only issue with Guy is he's got good kit, good skill set, but it's nothing flash, nothing amazing. The damage output does not justify squishiness. See, Guile here and Dhalsim, they're squishy, but they have AoE. He doesn't, right? He's a single target. He hits the back row, but he just doesn't do it quick enough, right? He's no Akuma or C Viper by any means, unfortunately. So I would recommend him, right? Mad Ryu, 80. That's the highest he'll ever go for me. Decent kit. He can dispel shields. He's got decent damage output. Unless you come up across a Bison team, then you're kind of screwed because you'll keep making Bison explode. and then you're kind of fucked. But look, don't waste your resources on him. I mean, you may use him for Thunder Tower or whatnot, but he's not a good PvP unit. Don't use him for Showdown. People realize now. People were getting really upset when I used to tell them, oh, he's not a good unit. Don't waste like your resources on him. He said, oh, well, what qualifies you, Deempo, to talk shit about Mad Ryu? Well, let me tell you what qualifies me to talk shit about Mad Ryu. This qualifies me, right? Full car, FS30. I used him till chapter 33, right? So I've taken out his max equipment and I've put it on Honda. So look, he falls short, unfortunately. He's my favorite unit, so let me throw this out there, right? He is my favorite unit. I had so much fun using him. I like his kit, but he's not good for Showdown. He's not good for many things because he ends up killing himself. You have to constantly heal him. And for clearing content, especially with one team, you want Street Poison in there, buffing the shit out of your team and just downing the opponent ASAP, right? Anyways, next we have Mr. MH Ken. Ken used to be God tier. For some reason, I'm looking at you devs. For some reason, Ken's been getting his cheeks clapped. He is freaking uber squishy. I will show you the strongest Ken in Asia Pacific, and that's Vix's Ken, right? And Vix lost his Ken. Oops, where was it? Sorry, here somewhere. He lost his Ken, right? It's just the way he died. He just gets clapped so quickly. He used to be a lot tankier. I mean, look at this lineup, man. He's using Bison, E Honda, and Elena. There's no one in there that can immediately kill MH Ken, and yeah, he just mysteriously gets clapped. I hope this is the right replay. Nope, this is the wrong replay. Sorry. Maybe it's this one here. Is it this one here? I don't know. Regardless, he just dies under mysterious circumstances, gets dropped very easily, and that never used to be the case. Matter of fact, Vix has been running that team since the game launched, and today was the first time that this MH Ken team has seen defeat. The first time since the game released. He's been running in Showdown, guaranteed victory every single time up until today. Guaranteed, without a doubt. So, I don't know. I'll let you guys decide, but they definitely did something. He's not a strong. Post-power update. Maybe something's broken now. I don't know, because I know Vergil was broken post-soul power update, but I'm not going to speculate, right? I had to actually message the devs to get that fixed, and luckily they fixed Vergil. So, he used to be God tier. I think now he's back to like S tier. He's good, lots of damage output. Not many people have him. And those that do have him, they run him without a fail. He's a mainstay, right? He used to be God tier, but now I feel like even with the soul power, he's actually gone weaker. Call me crazy, but I've been using him since he came out, and I'm telling you, there's something different here. Same as F Blanka. F Blanka used to be a lot tankier, and now he's just getting bent backwards. Rose is S tier without a shred of a doubt. Vix used to run her. Vix still runs her. She will buff your team to the moon, and you don't have to use the combos. She just needs to be there in the lineup. Not a stack, but in the lineup, and she will do miracles for you. She'll make that team almost unkillable. So Vix used to run her as part of his Zangief, Akuma, Rose, and Abel team. And man, she would just give Akuma free reign to go and just drop on people. Yeah, very, very good. But yeah. And she's not squishy either. Like she'll take some damage before she goes. Definitely tankier than Chun-Li, Fashion Sakura. Oh, actually maybe not Fashion Sakura, but definitely tankier than Guile, right? Next we have Street Poison. Street Poison is this is a bit of a this is a bit of a headache, right? She has a decent C2, but no one uses it for C2, right? If you put her, say, as part of like a B-Zang C Viper team and Bison, and you get to go first, you will wipe the other team because the damage boost that she provides is huge. Having said that, she is so damn squishy. If she gets caught out of position while assisting, she's dead, right? And survivability is everything in PvP. You know, you can have the best units. If they don't survive, you're not going to dish out damage. You're going to get cheeks clapped. Yeah, I would not recommend her, but hey, if you need someone else to fill that tag spot, so use her. If you don't have a Summer Yang or you don't have an Abel, use her. Excuse me. She'll do damage for you. T-Hawk, I have him. I haven't fully built him, but he needs to be still tested. Trendy Cammy, same problem as normal Cammy. She will delete a tank. The first unit, she'll double tap him. Huge output. But that's what the other team's tank is there for. Soak up the damage, while their DPS characters will absolutely maul your team. So, huge damage output. I would not recommend using her, right? Or maybe I should put an A tier, same as Iryu in Gen. She has decent kit, but it's not for showdown. It's just not. I know guys that used to use her and they just dropped her immediately. Zang, between S and S plus, people swear by him. I prefer Honda personally because I only run one tank and then I have Bison and Nero for the other team. So it could be S, he could be S plus. It depends which team you run him as. You know, he has the ability to nullify passives. He's very strong, very tanky, and you can use his C2. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a C3, right? So you shouldn't run him with Akuma if you use his C2 because you prefer, Akuma takes precedence. But yeah, beast of a unit. If you haven't built him. His 6K is a must-have, and his FS is a must-have. He will do the job. So until you get yourself a Sagat or a Goken or someone of that caliber, he will do it for you. No questions asked. Even better yet, you can run him as a double tank team with F, Blanka and Elena. And I'll show you how that works. So if I go here, Super Showdown, Zone 2, Zone 3, sorry. You'll see Apple runs him. She runs the double tank. Maybe not that one, we couldn't see it. How about here? Can we see it here? Oh, so she got Sagat now. So before she had Sagat, she was running Zangief in there. And this is a good setup that she has here because Sagat, he's got that C3. Absolutely cleans up, right? Anyways, a must-have unit. Absolutely must-have unit. Alright, and let's just cap off the tanks first before I move on. Otherwise, this tier list is going to go on for days and we don't have days. Sagat is S plus tier, right? And he's better than Honda and Zangief. But why is he in S plus tier and why are they in S plus tier? Well, they're free units. You need special tickets or you need division tickets for him, right? So he's expensive to build. They're very easy to build. You know, he requires a lot of resources. They require half the resources, right? That is the only reason. But is he better than them? Goddamn, he's better than them. I wish I had him for my F Blanka Iryu team. I'll definitely build him eventually. But I prefer him over Goken. But mind you, and this is only my opinion under my current circumstance, right? I prefer him over Goken. I really do. Unfortunately, Goken is not part of this tier list. When I do an updated tier list, I'll add Goken as well. Then we have Mr. Nero here. Nero is... Look, he's a pay-to-win unit. A lot of people found him pay-to-win units, but this guy here is heavily untested. I use him as a tank, but you can use him as a main carry, right? Because his super silences, his C1 interrupts. Let me show you what I mean. A gentleman posted it in the main Discord here. Here, right. Look at this, right? He is using his C1 to interrupt. Ready? Watch this. Opens up with F Blanka. And now he's using Nero to interrupt you. Boom, done, interrupted. So, it's He is a good unit. And his C1, his super interrupts across the board, right? He'll interrupt, he'll silence everyone. So, look, he's untested. I think he can go as far as S plus tier. I'll put him as S here for now until further testing is done. But I run him as a tank part of my, as part of my team. So here, you'll see I run him as is a mainstay in this team, and he's nigh unkillable. So essentially what he brings to the table for me is, if Akuma dies, Vergil takes over his C2, alright? So I always have a full combo running up until then. Summer Yang dies. But these two are always left alive at the end, right? He is so tanky. Unbelievable kit, and he has so many buffs. So if we look at his, where is it? Here and here, and we look at his garage. So what his cars do, he counterattacks, parry rate is increased by 40. He parries a lot, right? And he counterattacks a shit ton. And then the crit damage of all allies is increased by 12%. That's huge for 18 seconds and stacks, right? Even if you just get one stack out of it, like, it's still decent. So S to S plus, it's up to your interpretation, right? I think he's a very, very solid unit, without a shred of a doubt. Flame Chun, hey, she's no PvP character, right? Single target, she's about boss fights. She has no room in showdown. People that have invested in her don't feel emotionally attached. They have to use her. She's not a showdown unit. Yeah, your cheeks clapped. All right. Next, Vega. Oh my god, do I hate his kit. Like, this guy costs as much as Sagat to build. He's an absolute flop. I'm sorry to say this. He is a shit garbage unit. He's so squishy and gets caught with his pants down out of position constantly, especially if you use his C3. Dude, he gets clapped instantly. The only thing he brings to the table is speed. Speed, and that's it. Like, the key is no good. We've been testing him with a guy in this zone here. He's a bit of a whale, so he built him, and the moment he dropped him out of his lineup was the moment that he got to beat the largest whale there, right? Oh no, he's still using him. Apologies. He's still using him but he only uses him for the speed, right? He doesn't use anything like it. So he's a liability, right? He is a liability, but he needs that speed in his Blanka team. But this Vega cost him the final last time around, so I'm surprised he still uses him. Highly advise against building him. If you've done it, fair enough. If you haven't, don't do it. Dante, he's good. His super can interrupt. He freezes units. If it's timed correctly, he can interrupt, but rubbish damage output. Rubbish. Nero is much better, and Nero only costs $70 to buy. And building, if you were to buy outright Dante, will cost you over a grand, maybe $2,000 if you had no special tickets. So, no brainer. Decent kid, can interrupt. His C2 is piss poor. His super is okay. I just would not recommend, right? I would not recommend. He could work if you run him with someone like MH Ken. Like a Dante, Elena, MH Ken, and a Bison, but waste. They really screwed the pooch with his kit. Would not recommend. I mean, now you can't buy him anyway, but even back then I didn't recommend him. Athlete Chun-Li, in the process of testing her, so she'll probably be somewhere here. She does really good buffs, absorbs ranged attacks, but I still need to test her. Definitely a solid unit from what I've seen so far, but yeah. Next, Iryu, definitely not god tier. On par with Akuma, they do different things. He's a trigger unit. He's a Bison killer, bypasses shields. He's a beast in his own right. A little bit squishy, even squishier than Akuma, I would say. Up until he builds up his stacks, then his survivability goes up. Would recommend building him. I would recommend building both of them. Very, very good units. Would recommend him, right? I use him. He's a mainstay of my team. and he's delivered me 4 showdowns. Fingers crossed I win my 5th one this week. It's just a solid unit across the board. Could not recommend highly enough, right? So that covers Iryu. I don't have to go through his kit. You guys have already seen it. He's been out for a while. But I'll show you what he does for me, what he brings to the table. So if I go to zone 2, boom. Did I use him here? Nope. I use him in the qualifiers for sure. So here, I'll speed it up. So he will only trigger when Honda triggers. I use F Blanka for the AoE. Right. And watch this Bison go down now. That Bison is dead meat. He's done. Oh, never mind. I didn't kill him that time, but usually he kills Bison. Sorry, I can't find the video there was, but that is how I use him. He cleans up. He'll demolish any tank. Anyone that's front row, he's dead. And then he occasionally does his Raging Demon, which just latches onto the unit with the least amount of health. He can also kill Vergil while he's transformed. So overall, beast unit, a must-have in PvP, but not game breaking. You can do without him. Next, Summer Yang, S+ as well, only because he's second to healing to Elena, and now obviously Divine Rose, which I also don't have for tier list, but she would have gone to be tested anyway, same as Goken, because I don't have him, and I'm not going to judge him on a unit that I don't have, right, based on their potential looking at the kit. I need to see him in practice. S+, I use him, mainstay in my team, absolutely. I run him as part of my Vergil team. I wouldn't drop him. I only wish we had more of him, but we don't. So mainstay without a doubt. Solid unit, free to build, easily to build. I mean, I don't even have his cars, if I'm being completely honest with you, which I'll probably do next. So I don't even have him on my wish list, right? Look at that, only 1 car. I've just maxed his equipment, his FS, right? So solid unit. You should max him as well. Would highly recommend. He could come clutch for you in circumstances. He heals, he shields, he boosts damage. Is a good utility unit, right? So Dhalsim here, Alpha from my guild has him. I'll do a video with him soon enough once he has him maxed. See how he performs. I'm not like, so far what I've seen, he's got decent damage output if you can keep him alive. He's tanky, he can take a bit of punishment. I think he can take a bit more punishment than normal Dhalsim. But anyways, let's test him further and see what happens there. Summary Ibuki. I wish I could say she's S+, but right now I'll put her on the S. People really creamed over her. People panicked. People went and got her. She's too squishy. Very squishy. I've seen her get one-tapped time and time again. So she has the potential to be S+. Maybe once we figure out what's the right team composition for her. But she just lingers there. Not much of a health pool. She can get clapped very easily. And you don't want that in one of your damage dealers, right? Like, she fulfills similar role to MHK. MHK buffs damage, she buffs speed, crit rate, whatever it is. But these two, they are light years apart. Like, putting her in the same level as MHK is an insult to MHK, because she's no MHK, and she never will be, right? She has her place in the meta, but she's no MHK, and therefore I can't put her there. This guy here, he is a PvE unit. You should not use him in Showdown unless you use him as an assist on F Blanka like I use him. Would highly advise against it, right? And now we've reached the king of the castle. This guy is absolutely god tier. He is the main man at the moment. Well, you say, oh, well, why is he better than Bison? I'll tell you why he's better than Bison. Because Bison here is frontline. This guy is hiding behind the tank. Evil Ryu will not be able to reach him unless he does his Raging Demon, and this guy is like the lowest character in health. Every time he transforms, his health goes up, right? Whereas Bison can't do that. This guy here, one taps Sea Viper, Akumas. He loves the summer Ibukis, I'll tell you that much. He will, or the Dhalsims or the Guiles, right? He loves them. One taps. Let me show you what I mean. And mind you, this is against someone that's 44 levels higher than me, right? And is about 4 levels high. So 4 levels in Final Showdown is huge, right? He's got a very, very strong Akuma, max Zangief, very strong Sea Viper, and Elena there. And I'm running this thing here, right? Let's watch what happens. So Sea Viper gets hit by my Akuma, doesn't even go halfway through her health, right? Mind you, Akuma has 18 cars, Vergil doesn't, right? Then goes in. He does his super and he cleans her up, right? That's him done. Akuma down to 70%. But Sea Viper is out. Elena is about to die as well. And then boom, does this C2 and just wipes out Elena and Akuma. And you're left with Zangief. That is why he's God tier. So unless Evil Ray can reach him in this form, he's not going to die. He will remain there and he's going to crap on people. He's absolutely busted, right? And rightfully so. Right now, he is the only unit that has it on Bison. See, Bison perma can't die until your team does, but Bison does not have the damage output this guy does. Bison's damage output is very, like, can be consistent and sustained if he explodes constantly, but if you're up against an Akuma or a Sea Viper when it just hits your back units, how often is your Bison gonna explode realistically, right? Anyways, guys, I apologize for the long video, but I just wanted to share my showdown knowledge with you. I've mate, done so many showdowns. We spent countless hours every week with the boys testing different lineups, testing different units. It's a great community. I'm privileged to be part of the community. Great guys that I wouldn't have met otherwise, right? So, you know, and these are the sort of people that keep this game alive. And it's a, you know, many content creators will tell you it's a great community, right? It's not a toxic community. People are supportive. You know, we have a couple of active Discords. It's just great, right? Great. And a guild as well. People in our guild super active, with the exception of one person who used to be the guild owner. I don't want to kick him obviously out, but if you look here, everyone's active here. People are, you know, contributing. It's, as I say, it's a pleasure and a privilege to be part of this community. Anyways, guys, I won't bore you any longer. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed the tier list, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.